Hello there. Thank you again for tuning into the Becoming podcast. I am Jeffrey Ramos, your host. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode where we talk about what life is like after school and the new struggles and new climbs that we make as this generation. And so today I'm very happy to welcome Tae Nam right here. Thank you so much for coming, Tae, to our podcast to tell us a little bit about his story.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for having me.
Awesome. Cool. Hello there.
Hello, camera.
So what I want to talk to you about today is just a quick overview on who Tae is as a person. Tae was why should I speak for you when you should speak? Besides, I will only preface with the fact that Tae is a computer programmer. He is currently a car dweller, which means he lives and operates out of a vehicle that is a car. Don't know why it's said in that way, and he also is involved in a variety of projects which help supplement his income. So I guess why don't you give us a general view of who you are, Tae?
Yeah, I mean, basically, like Jeffrey said, I am, a computer science major from UCR. I had like a really, really high GPA. I think it was like 3.98. And then I dropped out my third year to pursue, like what I wanted to pursue, which is, like business, passive income, entrepreneurship. And yeah, that's basically it. And we're here now. And I am, van dweller, car programmer, sorry, and entrepreneur. Yeah, it's basically it.
Awesome. Cool. So, well, we have a lot to unpack just there.
Yeah.
So how was life like for you in college? You went to UC Riverside, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what was college like for you, I guess?
I guess, it was pretty chill for the most part. I guess, like, before my life took, like, a different directional change, like, my main goal was actually to become, like, the best computer scientist in the world. I always wanted, like, be the number one. So that was like my goal. So basically I, focused on all my classes and, tried to educate myself on computer science as much as I can. Yeah. And also, I mean, I hung out with you. I encountered you as a, like a residential advisor. We were like coworkers. So yeah, basically it was like really, really fun. Yeah.
Nice. And so like making that big decision to leave college must have been, you've had a thought about that a lot. Tell us a little bit about your thought process.
Yeah. I think that basically I saw that, a lot of people, I got to know a lot of people on my, computer programming, field. And I saw kind of the work conditions as well as, just basically like how their lives were going not well, I guess. And and I realized that like that's not where I wanted my life to like go. And at the same time, like I encountered all of this other stuff like, oh, like you can actually start businesses and you can actually, create like passive income, as a business that you own. So I guess like because of that, I realized that like I wanted to go for it. And the reason, so many people in my life have told me like, but you're on your third year, like you need to like, at least finish up your year and like get your degree first, right? And I guess like the rationale behind like dropping out of college to go for that is like I believe in like the now. Like I believe that there's only like now. So then if I wanted to get a goal, then I guess I'm just like the type of person who like if I don't do it now, like I won't. And that's kind of like where I'm at, because it's like if you think about it, it's like where are we now? We are in the present. And then where are we now? We are still in the present. It's like you can't push things off into the future. You have to do it in the present because that's the only place it's going to get done. So I guess like I'm a very like maybe like an impatient person, but that was my rationale.
No, I think what you're saying is right. I mean, this podcast is all about we're in this current state, right now. A lot of us have college debt. A lot of us are trying to figure out how to live independently. A lot of us are figuring out, healthcare, education, living expenses are all incredibly higher than where they were in the past 30 years. So we're doing our best to become, who we want to be while overcoming all those obstacles. So I think you're right. It's all about what we can do now in this present. One of my professors told me that, you just keep working at it. Like you cover all your failures with that one success. She applied to like over 300 like university positions, and all of them denied her except for one place.
Yeah.
Which was at our school, UC Riverside. And she said, "You cover up all your failures with your one success." But
There
that's
you
really
go.
life. Everybody covers up their failures with that one success. So living in the moment. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess what I want. So what were your first goals? I guess leaving college. Your first immediate goals that you wanted to get done.
I guess like my first immediate goal was definitely first getting my handle, like getting my ground like settled by like moving into my like mother's place.
Mm-hmm.
But then afterwards, like immediately, like finding a part-time job so that I can support myself. So basically, I guess like the overarching goal, right, is like financial freedom. I think a lot of people want that, like having enough passive income to not have to spend your time doing things you don't want to. And basically, like, well, this is a little bit personal, but so like my father, maybe it's in my genes or something, but had like the same thing where he wants like freedom. He wants to be financially free, and all that. But then the thing is like he kind of like leached off of my mother in a sense because he didn't want to actually make the money to support himself. He wanted to just pursue his passions, whether it be he wanted to like write scripts, he wanted to write his poems, he wanted to like perfect his craft. But at the same time, like he didn't want to make the, income and make the things to actually support himself first. And because of that, like my mother was like really heavily burdened. And so then like that takeaway was mainly like as I was growing up is that it's like it's okay to be like selfish. It's okay to like go for the things that you want, but at the same time make sure that you're not like depending on other people and burdening other people in the process. So then like and like that goes back to your question of like what is your immediate goal, which was that like I wanted to make enough money and like as a part-time or a full-time job that like I don't need to depend on my family to, actually like pursue my goals. Like I don't need to depend on them to give me money every month. So like
Gotcha.
they're just being independent first and then pursuing what I want. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what does that look like tangibly? I guess you have this main goal that you're setting out to venture into. So what were like the tangible like
Oh yeah.
first milestones? I guess you wanted.
Okay. So the first thing was definitely I knew that I didn't want to like pay for rent, and that led into like buying a car and finding a way to sleep in it, like turning it into a sleep capsule.
I don't want to. I mean, what you said in itself is a really hard decision, at least for me as an average person. I love my bed, and so you always do you live comfortably? Like you think you can sleep anywhere? Like was that difficult for you to make that
Well,
decision?
I guess like I'm very much like a person who believes like people can adapt to any situation if they're like in it long enough. And I guess for me it's like even though I knew that I was going to be uncomfortable because I mean like we were both like like RAs, like residential advisors, and like we get like free housing and we get like really nice beds. So then like going from that to like sleeping in a car, like going from a free bed, it's like it's definitely not a good like transition. But like at the same time, like I knew that like it's like this is something that I could do and I could get used to it. So I guess like that was my like thinking.
Cool, smart. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so that was like the I guess the first tangible step is that like I wanted to like get a car and then live in it. And then so the first thing I fell in love with is like the Toyota Prius. So because it had the 40 miles per gallon or no, it had the 50 miles per gallon, and then if you're driving like less efficiently then it's like 40 miles per gallon. And that's like pretty awesome. And I guess like also it's a hatchback. So then that means that the trunk and the front is actually like there's no divider. So then I was like, oh, okay. So then like, and then you can put a bed if you remove the back seats and then you can sleep in it. So then that was like my first step was like getting a Prius and then setting it up with the bed and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so you talked about a little about saving costs and about you didn't want to pay rent obviously, and you talked about financial freedom, about supplementing your income.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you going to do to supplement your income if you live in a car?
Yeah. Well, I guess like I knew that, if I wanted to make a business that can eventually, work for me and like give me money like passively, then I knew that I needed like to actually I wasn't going to do that like in like a month. Like it was gonna take time. So then like then the next step was to like get a part-time job. So then like yeah, so basically like, that led me to actually going to Silicon Valley because I knew that I was going to, sleep in a car. Like I've tried it and then it was good. And then I was like, okay, if I'm location free, I can be anywhere I want to be. Then it's like I should be where the baseline like pay is the highest. So then, so
Yeah,
then
Silicon Valley. I
yeah.
hear there's some rich people there.
Yeah, and basically it was like it's so funny because like some people are like, wow, like okay, you're like computer scientist and you go to Silicon Valley, like it makes sense, but like the reason I landed in Silicon Valley is actually because like I literally just did a Google search and I was like, what is the highest minimum wage in California? And then it was like Mountain View and like Sunnyvale, and I was like, what's Mountain View? What's Sunnyvale? And then I just went up there, and then like that just happened to be the Silicon Valley area.
2020. There you go. Most highest minimum wage people. All you post grads listening in.
There you go. Don't move to Mountain View. Lower the minimum wage.
Okay. Well, cool. That's interesting. Okay, so you moved to Silicon Valley. You are getting a part-time job, and then you're a computer programmer.
Mm-hmm.
You continue doing stuff in that, correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah. Well, I guess there isn't really that much to talk about, just because there were like times when I did it like kind of on and off, and like my other projects actually don't really involve like computer programming as much. But I guess like in the beginning there were definitely some times when like I went into like website development. So then I would I would like cold call like companies, and like I would say like, hey, like I can redesign your website, add it to my portfolio. And basically like I would take like a week to like improve the appearance of it, and then I'm like, huh, like what do you guys think? And then it's like all right, like that looks pretty good. And then yeah, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
But that actually doesn't like actually focus as much to like my other projects. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have other projects that you do.
Yeah.
That involve money, or
Yeah, basically like I don't really want to get into like specifically like what I'm going into, but yeah, it's just basically like a non-internet based, because I mean I feel like there are some people who like think that maybe like to like make money you need to like go on the internet and stuff, but it's like even starting like just basic like mom and pop shops and stuff is like one way to get through the barrier of like actually having experience in like business and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, no. The reason I asked is because you seem like completely devoted to making sure that you are independent in like any ways. That means covering, what you eat, where you live, showering. Oh, that's a good question. How do you shower?
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Do you still take showers, Tay? Or are you really filthy right now?
that's right. It's been 30 days, Jeffrey. No, but yeah. Well, in the very, very beginning, I actually went to a Planet Fitness because it is a $10 a month gym membership program. It's like suddenly going into advertising. but like yeah, but it is $10 a month. And if you were, and they have showers there, they have like filtered water there. So like basically if I just refill my water and shower every month, like for $10, like that's a pretty good deal. And then eventually I moved up in the world. and then I started, and then I found out that YMCA was like maybe like more optimal for like my location. So then that place also has like a free shower, a free place with a Wi-Fi where you can like work with your computer. They also have filters. So like yeah, basically now I go to the YMCA like on a daily basis.
Nice. And I think you told me beforehand that it actually motivates you because you're already there to actually work out as well.
Yes, it's so easy to work out. I feel like I hear that sometimes like people have trouble because they're like, oh, like I need to get up and I need to drive to the gym and like all that stuff. I literally like walk out of my car, and then like in less than a minute I'm like at the YMCA. So then I'm just like, why not lift some weights? Like it's a good like way to start the day. Like yeah. So that's actually been really good on my fitness.
Well, that's good. I'm happy that it's working out for you on that way. That's cool. So so you had these goals. This is where you're at now. You know, you're living in your car, and you're figuring out your projects on how to be more financially independent just from the world itself. Um, I guess what were some of your biggest challenges? I guess to that dream of being financially independent.
Mm, I guess if we're talking like in like a real obstacle, like what's in my way kind of thing, then I think the very first thing is that like even though I did want to like start like a business, I didn't know like what that looked like because like I don't have like an MBA, like I don't know what some kind of supply chain that you need to set up or
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know anything about that. So basically like learning like oh like how are people going to give me money for stuff that I have, I guess like it's like
Mm-hmm.
that was the like the first part, like actually like getting experience in like selling something and like getting people to buy. And I guess but in an overarching kind of way, like in the abstract, I think one of the biggest things that I had to overcome is that like I believe that like you know entrepreneurship can be like very exponential where like in the very beginning, like even for like the couple like first 5 months or so, it's like it just looks like you're not doing anything or you're not getting any results. Like it's just like, are you doing stuff like at all? Like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of looks like that because you're just making your prototype and doing things. And I guess like at that time, because you know I did drop out of college and I do as a third year, right? So then I do see all my friends graduating and like start taking these like nice salary jobs and like you know getting like financially independent, you know, and all that. And I guess it's like the one obstacle was like thinking about like oh like am I like even doing anything like was this even the right call or am I just like a college dropout who just like has nothing going for him. He's just kind of wandering around nowhere. Like that kind of like sense of doubt, I guess it's like probably like one of the biggest obstacles. But
Yeah.
but obviously I'm a lot more comfortable saying this now because I have like some results. But before it was like a really big thing.
Cover all your
Yeah,
failures with that
exactly.
one
There you go.
success.
Got that success, cover it all up. Yeah.
No, I think yeah, no, you're right. I think I mean, I'm working, freelance in film, and so I mean, the hardest part for me, and I was going to bring this up later, but I guess I'll bring it up now, is that there's always 50% of you that's like good things come with time
Mhm.
and you need to be hopeful, and there's
Mhm.
the other 50% of you that's am I doing enough now?
Mm.
And these things are constantly adding, hurt your ego, hurt your mentality. It's supposed to be challenging, but I think that, it's a real barrier, and it could be applied to anything, whether you don't get a job immediately when you get out of school, maybe. I think I read a quote earlier that, like, comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
really speaks up. And we should be proud of where we're going. We should be proud of wherever we're at, because as we all know, we can only try our best. One of my favorite quotes that I keep repeating nowadays is from Emerson, and it's the greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Everyone always remembers. You can always take a moment of failure and think, how am I going to recover from that and how we're going to go past this, because that's the only way to move forward.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think one thing that like related to yours that I think actually helped me a lot is also I read into a lot of audiobooks, and like one book that I like read a lot like during my those like doubting times, I guess, is like there's a book that's literally called like How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie.
Oh.
And like basically it's like giving you steps on like okay, like you were worried about something, but like what can you do about it now? And like it's like things that you should worry about and you shouldn't. And yeah, I guess like that helped me a lot too. Yeah.
Do you remember some specific stuff? I'm curious to know.
Okay. Well, I think one part of it is like living in daytime compartments. So then it talks about how like a ship, right, has different compartments that are like kind of blocked off so that like if one like overflows, the entire ship doesn't just go down by itself. It has like
Mhm.
safeguards against each side. And then like he talks about that in like your life where like you think about today and then you think about all the things that you can do today. but like there are, things that you screwed up on in the past, and then there are a lot of worries about your future and how your life will turn out. But like these things like are imaginary, right? It's like what you have right now is today, and like that's the only thing you should really think about. And like, of course, I mean, like, this is not to say like YOLO, you should just do everything, but it's
Mm-hmm.
basically saying like you shouldn't worry about stuff that's not today. You should plan for it, but you shouldn't worry about it. Yeah.
That's really insightful. Thank you, Tay.
Oh.
Appreciate it. Cool. Tell us. I really want to know what it's like to live in a car, and I think our viewers would be that too. I mean, I know there's street cleaning on my street on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and during the summer. I mean, it gets hot here in California. Tell us about some of your experiences in that.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think in the very beginning there was definitely like some problems regarding like the weather, but mainly, well, I haven't had too much like problems regarding like the hot, because I think of my like car dwelling as almost like a sleep capsule. So then like I just like need a place to sleep for the day, so I get my like 8 to 9 hours, and then I wake up and then I get out of the car. So then like basically by the time I wake up, like I'm already out of the car, and then the car starts heating up, but then like I'm not there, so I don't feel any of that. And I guess like but there is like sometimes when it's like the nights, or it's like really really cold. But I guess I found that the best thing to cover it up is like there's like different types of sleeping bags, and one of them is like this thing called a mummy sleeping bag. And then basically it like covers your head, so then your heat like doesn't escape. So then I've just been using like a mummy sleeping bag, and then I get like just cotton blankets and like cover it up so that the heat doesn't escape as much. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Mm. Ooh, also like maybe I shouldn't say this, but like it's not legal to park at like places like that are like private property.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes, like that's a lot nicer than like parking on the street, because like the street, like you said, has like street cleaning. So sometimes you're woken up like in the middle of the night, like with the sound of like like it's just like cleaning it. So sometimes there are times where I just go on the parking lot, and then it's like a lot quieter, and like yeah. So that's one thing. Yeah.
Well, smart. Cool. Speaking of people, like, have people like, I guess, when you go in your car to sleep, I mean, people notice, right? Have you had any weird experiences, or like on the street, like you said?
Yeah. I think most people kind of like, they're like, oh, okay, that is happening, and then they just kind of like keep walking. But there was this really funny experience where, so now I sleep in a minivan, and then like sometimes they have those remote controls where like the side of the minivan like is like bing, and then it like opens like automatically. So then like as I was walking towards, I didn't see this like Asian grandma that was just walking right next to my car.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I turned on the thing, and then like so then my side door just opened in front of her, and then she just like looked, and then there's just a bed and like sleeping bags and like blankets and just everything over there, and she just like looked, and she just like kept walking. So I guess that was like something funny that happened. Maybe like not during the daytime, but like in the nighttime also, like I've had some like interesting experiences where like sometimes like there was like this one person that like was walking his dog, and I guess his dog's name is like Cheddar. So then like he was basically like just cursing at his dog really loud. So then like I was just sleeping, and he's just like what the F are you doing, Cheddar? Like get the F up right now, like keep going. And I'm just like, I'm like, and he's like right next to my car, like he's right next to me. And like luckily, because I have like tint, like I have tinting,
Mm-hmm.
so then he can't see me. But I'm also like afraid to like move, because I don't want to like shake something up, and then he's like, "Is someone in there?" Like, so
Someone in this car?
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like that's another interesting encounter of like something that happened. Yeah,
Interesting. Cool. Do you want to own a house in the future?
I do. Yeah. So, well, I mean, like basically, I think that like it's like financial literacy of like, I think like assets are important and all that. But I guess like I'm very comfortable living in a car, but I do think that like if I do want to like invest my money, then I do want to like invest in a house and then maybe like rent it out. which is really funny because I was thinking like I can rent out my house and then I can have my van in front of my house, so then I'm not actually living in it. But yeah, but it's like another cash flow. But that is something that I do want to do like in the future, where like once I have the lump sums of money, then I can like invest in houses and then I can rent them out.
Got you. Yeah, no, real estate's lucrative, especially in California, man. Costs you an arm and leg to live here.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna do a segment because we have not done a segment.
Okay, for sure.
We should have done into the segment. So it's called "What are your weaknesses?" and it's called that because it's a common interview question, which is used to basically sabotage your own interview.
Yeah.
So you don't seem full of yourself, but you also are not weak enough to not get the job. So the way we flip it on this show, we call it "What are your weaknesses?" because we want to know, what are your guilty pleasures?
What are my guilty pleasures?
So, what are your weaknesses, Tae?
What are my guilty pleasures? I guess because, I identify as like someone who, it's like entrepreneurship and like, hustle and like productivity and stuff. But I guess my guilty pleasure would be like, I really like playing like Pokemon a lot.
Pokemon?
Yeah. Have you heard of this thing called the Nuzlocke Challenge? I'm actually in the middle of it right now.
No, what is it?
Okay. So basically like Pokemon is like this like kind of like strategy glorified rock, paper, scissors game. And
to clarify to my viewers, I do know what Pokemon is. I don't want to seem like a dunce. I grew up with Pokemon cards. My mom thought Yu-Gi-Oh cards were the devil's work, so I grew up on Pokemon. I just wanted to save myself on that. Keep going.
Yeah, but basically, like that game for like people who grew up with it and they are like in their 20s now and 30s, like the game is like really easy. But then to make it harder and more interesting, they add like a set of rules, like self-imposed set of rules. So then like one of them is like that like you have to name every Pokemon. So then it's like an attempt to like get you closer, like to bond with your Pokemon. So then it's like it's not just a Gyarados. It's like it's my own like fishy too, like or something like that's like it's like your Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing, to make it harder, you can only catch the first Pokemon in every route. So then you have a very limited number of options, and sometimes you literally only have like the most common, like kind of not that good Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last and most important rule is that when a Pokemon faints, like you just have to delete it. Basically, it's gone forever.
Oh my gosh. So
and
wait, we're talking about video game format or card format?
Oh, the video game format.
Video game format.
Yeah. And then basically with these rules, like then you have to try to like beat the entire game. So then like, something that's especially hard is like the Elite Four, which is like, like you have to go through like 5 gym battles without actually going to a Poke Center. And then like, so then one of your valued Pokemon that you've like grown and nurtured over the whole entire like course of the game, like sometimes it just die.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, horrible. Yeah. And, or sometimes like when you're just training the Pokemon, like it's just really weak and you're just like, but it's a really good, like competitively viable Pokemon. So then I would be thinking like, oh, like this is going to be really good. Like this is going to be really useful for the whole game. And then it just accidentally like gets a critical hit and then it just dies.
Butchered.
And then it's like, you had so much potential. Like you could have, like single-handedly beat like this one guy, but like, it's like, yeah,
it's
but
like, it's not my fault that Voltron decided to self-destruct. Like, come on.
But yeah, but that's like, I guess my guilty pleasure is like, I really like playing like Pokemon. And okay, this is gonna sound real like weird, but like I have learned a lot of life/business lessons from like Pokemon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Give us a taste of that.
Okay.
What's a business tip?
So I guess like one like kind of thing is that like there were times when I started the game and like I was like, oh like, well like I like picked up this kind of mediocre Pokemon and like it's like, but it's like the easiest to train right now, and like I and then I could just keep taking it, and then I just like it's better, right? But then like I realized like it's good to focus on like the 1 or 2 the Pokemon that are like actually like competitively viable, or like the ones that has the highest ceiling, like it can become the strongest, right? So then like basically that's your starter or like some other like Pokemon, but like that translated like in my head to like business, because
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like there could be like a lot of different businesses I can go into, and some of them would be easier because like like computer programming, so it's like easier to go into because I already know certain things about it. But it's like, but it's important to focus on like the one or two like things that actually have the highest ceiling, because this is something that you're going to be putting days into and months into. So then you shouldn't start it only because it's like that's what's available to you or like what's good. You should focus on things that are can get you the highest mileage, you know? So
Gotcha.
so that's like a weird like life lesson from Pokemon.
There you go. See, whatever it may be. That's why I'm in the storytelling business. I love. I think there's nothing more powerful than stories. Just quick, I guess the last thing to wrap up on Pokemon. Do you have a favorite Pokemon?
Oh yes. I think my favorite. Well, it's just super cliche, but my favorite Pokemon would probably be Charizard, because that's the one that carried me throughout the entire game. And then I named it like Henry.
Hmm.
But then like later on, when he like grew to his potential and he like was actually like really strong, then I like went to a name changer and then I changed his name to King Henry. So then now, yeah, but it would be Charizard. Yeah.
Gotcha. There, he needed his upgrade.
Yeah, you did.
Not
Yeah.
title. Like, I'm not just Henry. I'm Doctor Henry.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Mine's is Deoxys. Sort of old school, but I
Okay.
guess if it wasn't legendary, I do like Piplup. I love penguins.
Okay.
They're adorable. So Squirtle too. Squirtle, I guess, out of the originals. Squirtle's got my heart. Cool. Um, let's go on to I want to talk about you talked about your successes, right? So
Mhm.
you said you can talk about this stuff because you've actually succeeded in some stuff. So why don't you highlight, I guess, why don't we highlight about your milestones that you've passed?
Okay. I think probably like the biggest milestone for me personally is like, you know, getting that first dollar. I think that would be the biggest, because like, after I, dropped out of college and then like try to start a business and all that, like I think like I had no idea what was going on basically. And like going and realizing like that event of having someone who was like a stranger who doesn't care about me, who doesn't know me, be like, hey, I want to give you like my money so that you can give me like whatever you have to offer, like that first. And then like getting that first like money, I was like, wow, like I was like, people actually want this, and like people are willing to like give me money for it. Like I guess like that was like the biggest milestone. And then like in like I guess as a result of that milestone, like a really big thing I learned is that like it's almost like the money that you get, it's like for everyone who buys it, they think it's a good deal, right? When people hand over money, they think it's a good deal. So then like that means that you have provided them more value than your money is worth. So then like being able to provide that value and like showing them that they got a good deal, like I think that's like really really important. So like I learned that from like my milestone. Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
So what are your new goals, I guess, moving forward now? Because now you can now you're supplementing your income, right? Currently, your status.
Yeah. So I have enough income to like pay for my food, gas, like all my living expenses and stuff like that. Yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Did you think you would be at this point, like earlier, before, like today, February 2020? Did you think you'd be at this point?
I mean, I'm like a big dreamer, so I think I probably wish that I got here sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm glad that I'm here now. Yeah.
Okay. And so, what do you have some new goals then moving forward? Like, what are your next?
Yeah,
things you wanna do?
I do. So now, like being able to free up my time is really good. But I think the next thing that I want to go for is like becoming like really rich. So like filthy rich.
Oh, gotcha.
Like because I like in the very beginning it was like a lot about ego and stuff, but like now at this point it's more like I feel like when you have a lot of money, then you are given a lot more choices, and like you can choose to do a lot of different things. And like I want to know like what this world has to offer, and like the other choices that are not available to me. So then like because of that, I want to like become like, yeah, filthy rich basically. Like a good like analogy that my friend gave is like is like there were like we were hanging out with some like people who were like I guess like of lower like income and stuff, and like suddenly like one person brought up like Alexander Hamilton, like the musical,
Mm-hmm.
and then like and then they had no idea what it was. But then I guess like for me, I was like, that's like such a good, like it's like that's a real thing that you should like taste and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess but that goes to show like but we're at this level, right? So then it's like what are we missing out on, like when we go to those
Mm.
higher levels, what are we missing out, so like that's
Te-
what I want to taste.
tennis, skee ball, any of the Winter Olympic sports besides ice skating.
But that's my next goal is just keep ramping it up and just keep making that money. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's super cool. We're gonna move on to our next segment, to mixed movie madness.
Mixed Movie Madness!
And so the two movies that we're gonna have in this section, if you're new to this section, just are tuning in. Mixed movie madness is all about the movies, and so I'm in film, and I would like to basically try to guess films we have not seen before and try to guess what their plot lines are. So the two films we have today are Frozen 2 and Independence Day. I have not seen Frozen 2 and Tae has not seen Independence Day. So we're going to give you I'll let you go first. I will give you the names of some characters, a little bit about the characters, and then just the intro of how the plot starts.
It's Uncut Gems, right?
You are right. Let me rephrase that. Welcome to Mixed Movie Madness. The two movies for today are Independence Day and Uncut Gems. I have not seen Uncut Gems, and Tae
Alright.
has not seen Independence Day. We're going to give a little bit of info on some of the characters, how they relate to the story, and a little bit about how the movie starts. From that point, the other person has to guess what the plot line is and tell us if the ending is happy or not.
Okay.
So I will begin first. So, title is Independence Day, very famous 4th of July movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have here on the genre, I guess I would say is like action, probably the genre. You have here David Levinson. David is a scientist. You have President Thomas. He is the president of the United States. You have Captain Stephen. And Captain Stephen is a captain in the armed forces. You have Julius Levinson, who is the father of David, the scientist. And then you have Russell Cage, whom Russell was abducted by aliens.
Okay.
And so the intro to Independence Day is you have people living their normal lives, and aliens come to invade the planet, and they start out by sending massive ships to wipe out the major cities, which they successfully do. And our characters find themselves in a place in Area 51.
Okay.
And
So they find themselves in Area 51. Okay. So I guess then wow, that's pretty hard.
they lead into Area 51, I should say. They all meet there.
Okay. So I guess my guess, I feel like maybe it sounds like because it's Independence Day, right? And this is like an American like movie. So then maybe like the aliens are like a symbol. It's like symbolism for like the British people, right? Like who are like trying to like take over like America, and like and they're aliens. They're from the other country, right? Like they're literally
Yes,
aliens,
I
right?
guess so.
So then basically, oh, but why would a scientist be there? Okay, I guess maybe the person who was abducted by aliens, so then he kind of bought into like the British like propaganda of like, or the aliens of like that we should take over, like we should give it to the aliens because maybe it's like an environmental thing, like humans are taking too much like resources. It's like not sustainable. So then like the person who was abducted by aliens like comes, and you said that was the father, right?
No, that's a separate character.
Oh,
Julius is the father, the son. Russell is the guy that was abducted by aliens.
Okay. So then yeah, basically okay. And then I guess maybe the aliens like so then they want to take over the earth, and then so then they're in area 51, and the whole entire like world is like maybe it's all taken over by like some kind of like bacterial like kind of like the coronavirus or something. Like it's like everything's taken over. So then that's why the scientist is like trying to find a cure. I feel like the president doesn't sound like he has a good like role in the story. I feel like he probably just is like a hardy president who's just like, oh, like get things done. Like we don't want America to be taken and all that stuff. So that's probably where he's at. I guess like I'm pretty sure this movie would have a happy ending. So then the scientist finds a cure for the virus, and then like it's like they gain their independence, and then eventually like Will Smith like just waves the American flag at the end of the movie, and he's just like like America was true after all. It's
like Les Mis, like at the end of the barricade.
Yeah, it's like the barricade exactly. So I think that's what happened. Yeah,
Got it.
basically in the end they cure the virus. Will Smith waves the American flag. It's like happy ending. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Tae.
It's like 100% spot on.
You'll have to see the movie if you if you got that right. So okay, thank you, Tae. Now it's your turn. So we're gonna talk about Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Hit me with your best shot.
All right. So the main character is a Jewish American in the Diamond District. He is a jeweler. He sells jewels, and he is addicted to gambling. There's also Julia, which is Howard's, like the main character's employee and girlfriend, and also she's really hot.
That's important.
Yeah, that's very important. But also, fun fact, this main character also has a wife as well, in addition to the girlfriend/employee.
Okay, so she's like a trifecta: employee, girlfriend, and
wife. Also, there is Kevin Garnett, the power forward of the Boston Celtics, obviously.
Wait. Who?
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett?
He is a power forward. Is a basketball player for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, shoot, sports, my weakness. Okay.
And also there is Arno, which is a loan shark, and also the brother-in-law of the main character. But mainly he's just a loan shark. He's a very, very loan shark person.
Okay.
And there's also Phil, who is a henchman of Arno, who is also very quick-tempered. He is very easily angry and like goes off the handles. That's Phil. He's a henchman.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the intro to the story is that Howard, since he's a jeweler, he imports this exotic black opal worth millions and millions of dollars. And Kevin, the basketball player, wants to borrow it because Kevin thinks that it has like magic powers and stuff.
Wait, Kevin, the power forward.
The power forward of the Celtics. He wants to take the black opal and borrow it because he thinks it has magic powers.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so do we wait, I guess I can't. Okay. I feel you didn't ask me questions, and so I'm going to try not to ask questions and work with what I got. Okay. So this is what happens in Uncut Gems. So the first thing they're going to do is Howard is going to cut the gem.
Okay, he's going to cut the gem.
He's going to give half the gem to Kevin the power forward. That's his name, Kevin the power forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes his girlfriend/employee Julia to be jealous because he thought he was going to propose to her. And so because she gets jealous of that, Arno uses the loan shark, to his advantage to turn his girlfriend against Howard.
Okay. Okay.
And so Julia ruins things at the jewelry shop. Now he's addicted to gambling. The way I'm gonna turn this around is like he even loses his own cut. I know everyone's laughing at me. I can hear you guys.
Okay.
But he gambles it away, and because of that, Phil goes over Arnold's henchman to beat up Howard and ask him for money, and Howard doesn't have that, and it ends off that Kevin realizes that it does not have magic powers and gives it back to Howard, and then that saves his relationship and his store.
And sorry.
It's a sad ending because he loses his friend Kevin G.
There you
Power
go.
forward.
The power forward. But at least he saves his relationship.
And that's Uncut Gems. They say uncut, so they throw you off.
They actually cut the gem. That's the twist. That's the twist when they cut the gem. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you. Well, thank you for participating in Mixed
No.
Movie Madness.
There you go.
Awesome. Cool. I'm curious to know. You seem like a very educated guy, and you have interests that you want to follow up on, and you're making your progress to this. How are you with would you consider yourself a person that I could imagine because you're moving far away from your family, maybe you make friends in Silicon Valley, that this is sort of hard on your own ties with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess how do you manage that? Is that something you saw as you were worried about, or something that you thought you would just learn to adapt to?
I think that, well, I guess one thing to note is that I am a hardcore introvert. So then basically my wet dream is a really dark, chill room, just covered with blankets with no one else in it, and just chilling there for the whole time.
Okay.
But basically, but I am aware of the fact, because I love being alone so much that I can kind of push myself towards social isolation. And basically humans need contact with each other, but I guess some part of me just is it's okay, I can just chill with myself, but I don't think sometimes I don't realize that can make you insane. Sometimes
Oh, really?
Being socially isolated for a long period of time, it makes you really insane. But I think that luckily I do come back home every month. So for example, this is one of the weeks that I came back home.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you.
And during this time, I do hang out with my family and my friends. So I try to have that, human contact every month or so. And I feel that helps a lot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But basically, yeah, I think that's one thing that actually helps me a lot in my journey, is that sometimes being able to be alone and being able to do the towing of making your success, and taking that time to do that, without needing too much of human contact. I feel it does help me a lot. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think it's interesting for you, as a self-proclaimed introvert,
Yeah.
that you identify with that. You said that it could literally drive you insane.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm the opposite, but to my knowledge, introverts do like to be by themselves,
Mhm.
and they do like to spend time with people, but it can't affect you that harshly, it seems if
Yeah.
you're alone too long.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, but this is when we're talking about because I don't I don't go out of my way to go to events or clubs or anything in the Silicon Valley area. So I don't
Mhm.
have I guess friends or people that I hang out with too much.
You're my friend, so you got one.
There
I
you
guess,
go,
But
there's
here, Monrovia.
Yeah. But because of that, I'm talking this is imagine going 7 weeks without talking to anyone,
Ooh.
actually engaging in a real conversation with a person for 7 weeks. It's just you. That's
No,
yeah.
I can't do that.
But it's when I get to that point, then it's the insanity seeps in. But luckily I do take the time to hang out with everyone. So that's good. Yeah.
That's cool. That's nice. Excellent. We didn't get a chance to talk about your first jobs because you did say you wanted a part-time job, but
Yes.
I know any part-time job, you have all sorts of levels of experienced
Mm-hmm.
bosses and interesting groups. So what were some of your first jobs?
Yeah. So when I was moving back to like my mom's place, that's like where I grew up. And also I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So my first job was actually at a Yu-Gi-Oh shop because even during high school, just because I loved like Yu-Gi-Oh so much, I like asked the shop owner and I was like, "Hey, like can I work here? Like I want to like, work." And then he's like, "Why don't you like come back like after you go to college?" And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
And then so I literally came back and I'm like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember, but I went to college and I'm back." So I'm like, "Can I get a job?" And then like he actually did hire me. And that was a very interesting experience. I don't know if it was because like he was just a very good businessman or something, but like that place was like very efficient. And like that was my first time like getting hit with the reality of like being a worker because
Mhm.
it was literally like I had to like sort cards and stuff, and like we had to literally put the start time and then like the end time and then like how many cards we sorted, and then they had like a standard, so then it's like you had to go above that standard. And then so then basically it's like not only are your like hours of like how much you worked is like hours, but like the efficiency of your work is also like calculated, and like and then you have to try to keep beating your personal best. And like it's like they literally said like we want to see growth in like your speed and like how fast you're able to sort these cards.
Oh shoot.
And that was like very I was like holy, like it's like they're trying to get the most juice out of me, like I guess. So that was like very interesting. I mean, they were very nice, but like being thrown into that situation for the first time of like, wow, like it's like how much juice can we get out of you per hour, and like, and it's like there's not a single downtime. Like it's like you need to keep going.
Mhm.
So that was like very interesting. I guess like, and then after I moved to North Cal, um, I actually worked at In and Out.
Oh
Like,
wait,
yeah,
really?
I
I
was
didn't
an
know
In and
this.
Out person, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, basically I got the classic In and Out hats, the shirt, and mm, it was like an interesting experience because I was in Silicon Valley. So then one thing, if you didn't know, is that in addition to those In and Out people that clean, like they are considered a host. That means that they actually have to like talk to you. And I mean, most people don't because they don't want to do it. But like,
Mhm.
one of their duties is that they have to like start up a conversation with you, and like give you that like unique experience. So then like, it's actually like funny because like I actually got into a conversation with a lot of interesting people because it was Silicon Valley, and then like there were like Harvard professors, there were like programming like people who had their own businesses, also just like homeless people. They were a very like interesting range of people, and like I had to like essentially like start up a conversation with them. Also, but that place was similar to the Yu-Gi-Oh shop. It was like very efficient because like you're not allowed to sit down. Like it's literally like you're not allowed to sit down. But I didn't know that. So there's actually this situation where there was this girl who was waiting for her burger, and then so then I started up a conversation with her, and then I was like, "Yeah, how are you doing? Like, what are you gonna do for the rest of the day?" And blah 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 blah. And then like I was like, in my head I was like, what would be really nice? Like, if I can kind of be like a homey feeling, so then I could sit next to her, and then I could just like like be like next to her, like sitting. We're both sitting down, and just kind of like a homey
Probably
feeling.
like yeah. So like you weren't like overarching or like the power
Yeah,
stance and
exactly.
stuff. Just
Like I
like be
wasn't.
at her level.
Yeah, like I
Right.
wasn't like
Okay.
just standing up, right? So
Yeah.
then I sat down and I just continued to talk to this girl. And then it was in front of all the other workers. And then so then one of the workers just came and is just like, the manager wants to talk to you. And then I was like, okay. I was like, I'm okay. Like I didn't do anything. And then like the manager's like, what do you think you're doing? And I'm like, what? And then he's just like, oh, you're not allowed to stand. And I'm like, oh.
To sit.
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to sit. Yeah, so there was that. That was like very like efficient. Well, like I think like one thing I
Yeah.
would like to add is like one of my I guess like darkest moments of like vandaling is actually like there was a time when like I had to work like a 6 hour shift at In and Out,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I end my shift at like 1 a.m. right,
Mm-hmm.
and then so basically like and then because the YMCA is closed at that time, so then like I had to work my shift, and then I come back home, and then like I smell like burgers, and then I just need to go into my Prius, and then I just need to sleep, and I just need to like get rest. And like there was a time when I'm just like, wow, like is this what my life has come to? Like just like literally working at In and Out, and then coming to my Prius and going to sleep, like, and that was like a very like dark moment, but I mean eventually like it all paid off. But yeah, that was one things like my
Yeah.
starting jobs.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. No, I know they take like food service and stuff like very
Yeah.
seriously about sitting down. Like,
Yeah. Ooh, like I mean, I have to give In and Out props though, because
Mhm.
like that's something that they really really focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Is like they literally say like every single time that you're there, they're like smile is part of the uniform. Like you need to smile. Like
Mhm.
you need to like give like good customer service. And like looking back on it, I'm like that's actually really good. like, like yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, no, because it's like a focus. Like we want to see, we want to see you like express, like like that you're warm and that you're understanding. Did you think that people fit that? People were genuine when they smiled, I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess like as like a customer, I didn't really ever think about it too much, but like yeah, I guess like I did always in the back of my mind think like, oh yeah, like In and Out people are like a lot nicer than like a lot of other restaurants. But like it didn't occur to me until I was like in it that like
Mhm.
it's like, oh, like this is literally something they like retrain you
Oh,
on like over and
all the
over.
small stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's good though. I think I'm all about making sure people feel comfortable, and so that's good that it shows that it matters to them.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just as well as not sitting down.
Mm. Also maybe another gift for the fans, I guess, could be like, so fun fact, you can order extra everything on a burger and it is no charge. So then basically like, the tomatoes, the lettuce, the onions you
Oh,
get,
really?
like literally you can just, get your regular burger the way that you like it, and then you just say, hey, can I get extra everything? And then it's literally double, like just double that, and it's like no charge.
Except meat, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't double the meat, but yeah, but
Cool. So you can have like extra tomatoes, extra lettuce.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's like an employee secret. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah. So for like a $4, like double or something, like if you extra everything, like the size of the burger that you get, it's like huge.
Massive. Dang, awesome. Thank you so much, man. You talked about your, somewhat like jumping through these things, and you've been through, I mean, you live in your car. I keep saying that just because I don't think I have it in me. If I could, maybe if I was thrown in, but I guess you've made mistakes, and so what do you think? What trait led you to? What do you think is your trait you yourself has led you to have this success? I guess that's been the most useful to you that you've
Yep.
thought about.
I think this is not a trait that I honestly have all the time, but I think the trait that like kind of turns on and off within me. But like whenever this is on, I feel like this is like the secret sauce. But like it's actually just the thing that I mentioned before, which is that like it's like the drive to like action, right? Like whatever you want to do, just doing it like now. Like there is no tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Like, and just doing it like literally right at the moment. And like always, what can I do now? What can I do now? And like focusing on the moment. Because, if you push your tasks into the future, like the future doesn't exist. Like, no wonder your things don't get done, So
Mhm.
so that's like my I think like best trait. But obviously like there's times where I just don't have that trait. But when I do have it, that's like the best thing.
Of course, yeah. No, I mean that goes with what's it called? Inner motivation.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, and that in itself is hard. I know when you leave college because it's on you.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about the opposite of that question? What trait do you think has lend you to like not be as successful as you could be? Your
Hmm.
trait, something you want to improve on?
I think maybe I guess like that kind of trait would probably be like self like ignoring like basic needs that I have. So, like my health and like, because even though I know like in my head that like the quality of hours actually matters more than how many hours you put into something, like sometimes when I like put in like 2 or 3 hours, I'm just like, oh, why couldn't I just like do like 8, and then like just forgetting things, like just like it's kind of embarrassing, but like sometimes forgetting to shower or like sometimes like forgetting to like brush my teeth, and I'm just like just keep going, and it's like if that happens, like there comes a point where it's like because you didn't maintain all these other things that you need to take care of, they just all like come crashing down on you, and like so then I think if I had that more under control, maybe like that would have contributed to more like success. Yeah. So it's like taking care of yourself, self love, all that. You know.
Got you. Excellent. Cool. Well, with that, I think that's a good segue into our final words. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast
Oh,
today on Becoming. You're a great guest. I
oh,
enjoyed chatting with you.
yeah, thank you for having me.
And so I guess the last thing I want to ask is, what are your final words to our viewers there that, are leaving school? Maybe they're too scared to jump into something, or maybe they think they're not good enough to go into what they think they are. What about for all of our viewers? What are your parting words, I guess?
I guess like my parting words would probably be, as a van dweller, that's probably not the most like common thing. So like that just goes to show for me that like if you really like want something, then like you have to understand that like you need to forget what other people might think of you, and like like going at the opinions of others, because like these other people are not going to be dealing with the consequences of your actions, right? Only you're going to be dealing with those. So then like realizing if you want something, you should forget, what other people might think, and really go for it, because like that's your life, that's your consequences. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is that you have to be able to forget for moments that yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Tay. Once again, you've been listening to the Becoming Podcast. Please check us out on all of our platforms on Spotify, iTunes Store, and any other ones. And of course, follow our social medias. If you ever want to be a guest, feel free to reach out to our team. Or if you have any thoughts on the episode, we hope you liked it. But yeah, feel free to interact with us. We appreciate you all. And once again, this is Jeffrey Ramos, the host of Becoming Podcast. I had here today. Say hi to
Tae Nam.
Tae Nam. And thank you so much for listening. Check us out in the future, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.